for our news. So let's jump into our reviews. New this week was Star Trek Picard Season 3. Just one episode was released.
Yes.
I haven't seen it, but Christine did. What did you think of it?
Yes.
Let's do non-spoilers.
I watched the entire series with enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just give a brief synopsis of what they've been about. Season 1 was about, basically there was a problem with doing a show about Picard because in the Next Generation we learn that he has a disease and it's non-curable, and so Picard is going to die. So Season 1 fixed that problem.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put it that way.
Okay.
And he's kind of an outcast in Season 1. Season 2, he gets kind of back in a bit, and he has a crew, and they solve a problem, and the problem is Q, of course, but he turns out not to be too much of a problem. And now this season seems to be a real reuniting of the cast. This episode was called The Next Generation, and it does appear to be having most of the cast in it. Previously, we've seen Will Wheaton in it. We've seen Data a lot, not necessarily playing himself, but playing his forefathers, I guess we'll say. And we've had
the guy who made Data, and
yes,
his brother,
Soong.
Dr. Soong.
He's been
How did
in
I
there.
I can't believe I remember
and
that.
well, because Data died in the previous movies and stuff like that, and we've had Riker and Troy. So now, though, we're getting everybody, seems like, is coming back. So everyone that hasn't been on it is going to be in it. I don't think Troy is in this one, and I don't know if Will Wheaton is in it.
Deanna Troy?
Yes, she was in the previous seasons, but I think now we're getting everybody that hasn't been in it yet. It's coming back. And this one starts out with the Dr. Gates McFadden is in it, and they're going on a mission with the Next Generation. So anyway, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed the show. I think that it's had something special to it. All the seasons, I don't know, some other people you didn't care for, but I really enjoyed it. I thought that it's been a really good show.
Oh, I tapped out after the first episode. I watched this and I'm just, this is dumb and terrible writing, and I tapped out immediately.
I liked it. I think it's just, we've had a lot of Star Trek properties recently, and I haven't cared for most of them, but I did like this show. Anyway, so I'm excited to see what happens in this next season. It's a whole different... Oh yes, we also had a returning character of the Borg Queen and 7 of 9.
Yeah.
Those are the other two.
So I knew Jerry Ryan, who's 7 of 9, was in this show from the beginning.
She's in it this season.
But from what I've heard from podcasts and YouTube shows and other pundits and news reports, is that this third season of Picard is essentially a continuation of Star Trek Next Generation, because they bring back the whole crew.
It's called the final season. So this is it.
For Picard.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's essentially a continuation of Star Trek Next Generation. Now, you mentioned Q. He was only in the first season?
He was in the last season.
He was in season 2 as well?
There's a spoiler. Yeah, season 2.
Okay, I don't need you to spoil it,
I won't spoil it.
This guy, John Delancey,
he's been in everything.
He's quite old.
Well, yeah, they're all getting up there. I mean, this is the thing. Before we had the original cast, the original series, Generation, and most of them are passed away now. They started making movies, and then as they went along, they lost some members, right?
Yeah.
Now we only have a few left of the originals. But
the original crew that's from the 60s.
But this is also probably going to happen at some. These guys are getting older.
Yeah.
You know?
John Delancey is going to be 75 next month.
Yes.
Jeez. He's still kicking.
He's still
good
kicking.
for him.
Yeah. Anyway, he played Q in the previous season. He probably will not be in this season. Yeah, and Patrick Stewart, I don't know how old he is, but he's no spring chicken. He keeps on working all the time.
That guy's living forever.
I don't know how old is Patrick Stewart.
You want me to
reveal his age, although at a certain point it becomes a proud moment to say how old you are. That's a certain point.
I think he's at that point there.
Well, they have to be, everyone
he's 82.
Yeah, I figured he was about that age.
Jeez.
Yeah. So he's They've only got so many years left in them. Although William Shatner is going into space and doing everything, so he could be in all of these movies
he's hanging
if he wanted to.
Shatner's hanging out with Jeff Bezos going into space, and because he's using Jeff Bezos' dick rocket to go into space. Which I didn't make that up. Look it up.
If Shatner is any kind of indication, maybe they'll all just live forever. Maybe we'll keep on getting more shows.
Maybe because.
But
in terms of Star Trek people that we lost DeForest Kelley, who was Dr. McCoy in the original. Yes. We lost Leonard Nimoy, who was the original Spock. We lost
Scotty. And
James Doohan, who was Scotty.
Nichols
she died
has passed.
Recently.
Yes.
Michelle Nichols was Aurora.
We still have George Takei and Shatner, and I think Chekhov's still.
Yeah, I believe he's still around. What was his name again?
Yeah, so anyway, the cast, they can't live forever.
Walter Kinnear.
Yeah, he's still out there.
He's still around.
George Takei is hilarious on social media sometimes.
He's on Twitter all the time. You should have seen when Trump was in power. He was on there all the time trashing him. He's great on Twitter.
Although I haven't seen any of his stuff recently.
If you're on Twitter, follow George Takei because he's great.
He has great stuff on there.
Okay, so
anyway, yeah.
Did you enjoy this first episode of Picard?
I did, and it's just getting started.
Okay.
So we also have a new character, a new captain. And this captain is not like the cast that we have seen. All the captains that we have seen in Star Trek, now this has allowed them to write more stories, have been not that straight-laced, we will say. Okay. They're all loosey-goosey.
We gotta move on.
Well,
so
anyway, this new captain is very straight-laced. So we will see where that goes.
Okay.
So, because most of the captains have not been, and that's what leads these great stories.
But overall, you're enjoying the show.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so anyone else checking out Star Trek Picard out there? Season 3? Did you watch 1 and 2? I'm not into it, but I'm not a huge Star Trek fan. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. We'll read it out on our next episode.